Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Diaries. Is all this just an illusion we see? Are the warm smiles, meaningful glances, and sweet moments between Jungkook and Jimin just fan service? That question resonates in the hearts of many armies, especially those who have long watched the dynamic between the two most emotionally close BTS members, Jikook. Lately, doubts, rumors, and even painful speculation have arisen. Did Jungkook treat Jimin badly? Did he never truly love Jimin as much as we thought? These questions pierce like thorns in a garden that has always seemed so beautiful. But let's walk together, tracing the path of their relationship not just with logic, but with our hearts. From their very debut, Jimin and Jungkook have displayed a chemistry that can't be faked. Gentle, caring, and warm Jimin is always there for the shy and introverted Jungkook. On many occasions, we've seen Jimin care for Jungkook like an older brother protecting his younger sibling. But as time went on, their relationship seemed to change. It became more complex, more emotional, sometimes sweet, sometimes confusing. And that's where all the questions started to arise. There were times when Jungkook seemed distant. He wasn't as close as he used to be. His expression was flat, even cold in some public interactions. There were moments when he seemed to ignore Jimin or didn't respond with the same warmth. Many fans felt hurt by this. Why is he like this? They asked. Are all feelings unreal? But if we look deeper beyond the surface, there are layers that are more complex than what meets the eye. A relationship between two people who love each other isn't always smooth sailing. Sometimes love isn't expressed through hugs and sweet words. Sometimes it's hidden in inner conflict, in the fear of loss, in the struggle between career and feelings. Jungkook is someone who carries the burden of being the youngest. He grew up under the spotlight, and all his emotional changes are captured on camera. Jimin, on the other hand, is a very expressive person. When Jimin gives love, he shows it completely. When he's hurt, he can't hide it. These two worlds collide, and that's what makes their relationship so intense and unpredictable. Has Jungkook ever treated Jimin badly? There may have been moments where he was cold, insensitive, or even made Jimin feel neglected. But that doesn't mean he doesn't care. It doesn't mean he never loved. It's precisely because there's love that conflict arises. If there were no feelings, everything would feel flat. There would be no wounds. There would be no water. There would be no question. Look at how Jungkook's eyes change when Jimin laughs. Notice the way he stares at Jimin silently when Jimin isn't looking. Listen to the tone of his voice when he says Jimin's name. There's a hidden longing, a sincerity that can't be faked. That's not the way of someone who doesn't care. It's the sign of someone struggling with their own feelings. There was a moment when Jimin cried on stage, and Jungkook could only hug him without words. In that moment, love didn't need to be explained. It just needed to be felt. There were also moments when they sat silently together, silent, but full of comfort. That wasn't fan service. That was silent love. A love too deep to be shown. So, when people ask, did Jungkook never love Jimin? The answer isn't yes or no. Their relationship is too complex to explain in a single sentence. But one thing is for sure, no one can pretend for years without real emotional leaks. And for all the laughter, tears, hugs, and silences they share, there's something much bigger than friendship. Maybe their love isn't like the ones in Korean dramas. Maybe not all hugs are sweet, not all words are romantic. But true love isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it makes us question, doubt, even want to give up. But it still flows silently, weathering the storm. Every real relationship leaves traces. Traces that can't be faked, can't be engineered. And in Jimin and Jungkook's relationship, those traces are too clear to ignore. But still, there comes a time when darkness sets in. A time when love doesn't shine as bright as it used to. Fans call it the silent era of Jikook. A mysterious period where their interactions seem to disappear. ARMY, especially Jikookers, are starting to wonder, did they fight? Did they drift apart? Because of something serious? Some even sadly said, maybe Jungkook doesn't love Jimin anymore. These comments flooded Twitter and TikTok, accompanied by clips compiled with melancholy music. Every lost smile, every missed hug, became evidence in the emotional court of the fandom. Jimin and Jungkook's relationship has been a long journey, full of twists and turns, full of secrets, and full of emotions that are hard to explain. But if you truly look with your heart, you'll know the answer. Theirs is truly deep, real, and perhaps a more than we ever imagined. There's one unforgettable moment for many fans when Jimin said in an interview that he missed someone who used to be by his side. He didn't mention a name, but in that moment, the camera showed Jungkook's expression change. He lowered his head, biting, and in that silence, there was an unspoken confession. There are also small moments invisible to the naked eye, but captured by the cameras of loving fans. Like when Jimin secretly held Jungkook's hand as they sat side by side, or when Jungkook seemed anxious because Jimin was late to practice, or the way Jungkook sang Jimin's part of the song with such intensity. The feeling at the concert, it wasn't an act, it was pure honesty. And when fans started to feel lost, they were reminded of one thing. True love isn't always displayed so clearly. It often hides behind a calm, but it persists. Amidst the hustle and bustle of schedules, career pressures, public expectations, and all the rumors, their connection remained. It wasn't always visible, but it was felt, and that's what made it so painful and beautiful. They weren't just two close idols. They were two souls who had gone through so much together, from young, unknown kids to global icons watched by millions. And perhaps, in the end, we will never know the full truth. We are not them. We are merely witnesses to fragments of moments captured, stored, and immortalized in our hearts. But one thing is certain. Love, in whatever form, always leaves a trace. Whether it's in the laughter they once shared, or in the silence that now hangs, Jimin and Jungkook's relationship has inspired millions. Not because they are perfect, but because they are real, fragile, complicated, but beautiful. Does Jungkook love Jimin? Does Jimin still have a place for Jungkook in his heart? Those questions may never be clearly answered. But if you look with your heart, you will know. Because love doesn't always have to be announced to the world. Sometimes love is enough to be understood by two hearts, and by those who truly see. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. If you felt something while watching this video, whether it was emotion, longing, or even a small hurt in your chest, it means you saw, as we did. See you in the next story. And don't forget, love is real even in silence. Purple Heart.